Hello, my name is Nell and I have things to say. I also have a very fractious, restless baby, so we'll see how she goes. Today I want to talk about makeup and what it means to me, and why I love wearing it. Now, stop. So I previously tried to film a video about this, and I tried to do something interesting where I did my makeup while I spoke, and then it turned out it took me a long time to do my makeup, and I didn't have that much to say. So it would have just been a really boring, drawn out 20-minute video. So I thought I'll finish my makeup and then I'll film. So I've always been a fan of makeup. I've always really enjoyed it. I really started to like it when I was in my teens. And it wasn't something I saw a lot of. My mum didn't wear makeup. I didn't really see a lot of the women in my family wearing makeup. I didn't really grow up with it around me, but I really liked it. I loved looking at, in magazines, at pictures of celebrities with their makeup done, and I thought that was just so much fun. And when I was a teenager, we found these things at the newsagent, this magazine series, where every 2 weeks or every month you would get a magazine and a little set of makeup, and the magazine taught you how to use that. So it would be like a three color eyeshadow set, and then the magazine would have picture tutorials about how to apply that using that particular product. And this was before YouTube was super accessible, and back in the day, children, back in the day, our makeup tutorials were on paper in magazines. Welcome to the past. So I really loved that. And I had a friend, Elle, hi, love you, who she and I would get together and we would do makeup and we would wear our fanciest clothes and take photos of each other like we were celebrities. And that was so much fun. I didn't wear makeup at school. We weren't allowed, but I also not a lot of people saw me outside of school. And so when I was wearing makeup, like around my house and Elle's house, there was just this powerful feeling of expressing myself in a different way, of choosing how other people saw me. As I grew up, I continued to like it. I continued to play with it. When I moved to Newcastle, it was really freeing because I could wear bolder things and do crazy things, and not get looked at strangely, because it's a very artistic community there. So it was like, if I wanted to do crazy makeup, it just fitted in perfectly. And so I continued to play with it. And then I started to get sick, and makeup became more about making myself not look so sick. Covering my skin, covering my face. I had acne as well, and I would cover that. And I often relied on makeup, particularly things like concealer and foundation, to hide my skin because I didn't like it. I liked playing with color and everything, but I also wanted to hide my skin. So then I was deteriorating, and I reached a point where I couldn't be bothered expressing myself anymore. I'd lost so many ways of expressing myself that I just gave up on the rest. I used to express myself in my makeup, in the way I dressed, in the way I walked, the way I danced. I couldn't walk, couldn't dance. My clothes weren't fitting me properly anymore because I'd started to gain so much weight from medication. And so I just gave up. I didn't care. I didn't want people to see me. I didn't want to be noticeable anymore. I just wanted to disappear. And during those times, I was in a manual wheelchair, and Mum and I refer to it as turtle mode, because I would get so overwhelmed with being out and I didn't want people to see me that I would have my bag on my lap and I would just hug into my bag like a turtle. I just didn't want to be seen. And so I just didn't put in any effort anymore. I would wear baggy jeans and t-shirts because I kept gaining weight, so what was the point of buying nice clothes? I also didn't know how to dress my body because it was such a different size and shape. I'll do a video about that as well, because that has been its own weird journey. But then I had this realization that, why was I trying to disappear? I'm in a wheelchair. People are gonna notice me no matter what I do. People are gonna notice me. I'm gonna come into a room and people are going to notice me. And I realized that I wasn't fooling anyone. I wasn't disappearing, and I would arrive and people would look at my wheelchair. And I thought, well, if they're going to look at me anyway, might as well give them something else to look at. So I got back into makeup. And I realized that when I went out, people would look at my face. People would look at my face and not my chair. And I cannot tell you how satisfying that is. How much of a feeling of control I get back from that. Where people look at my face. They're remembering my face. And it's got to the point where that's helped my confidence even when I'm not wearing makeup, so that when I'm out, even if I'm not wearing a scrap of makeup on my face, I'm still smiling. I still have a brightness about me that makes people look at my face. It draws people up to this, to look at this, to engage with this. Forget about the rest. This is what I want you to engage in. Not to be like all about appearance, but I will express myself through my face. I will speak to you with my face. The wheelchair doesn't have to be a part of it. The wheelchair is part of me, but it doesn't have to be a part of your perception of me. And that was really freeing because, you know, I love wearing makeup, but also I can go makeup free because makeup was the lesson that taught me to draw people to my face. To draw people to the way that I still can express myself. And that was really freeing and powerful. And also, because I've gained so much weight and I've had to figure out how to dress myself like as in what suits me, what works, and that I've had to like give up a lot of my nice clothes that I loved and then buy different clothes. Another great thing about makeup is I'm never going to be too fat for it. I can use this palette, and it doesn't matter if I put on an extra 10 kilos, this palette is going to still fit on my face. And that's nice. Because while I have plateaued in my weight gain, like I've just been the same size for a couple of years, could always change. And I like knowing that there's a way of expressing myself that isn't going to change. And eventually I might not be able to do my makeup. Then I'll be getting someone else to, because I still want to be able to express myself in that way. So that's kind of why I love wearing makeup and what it means to me and the journey that I've been on with it. It's just so much fun. And I get comments when I'm out, even from other people with disabilities, that they like the fact that I am expressing myself that way. Because, you know what, disabled people can be pretty and handsome and attractive and fascinating and fabulous. Just because you can't express yourself the way everybody else does doesn't mean you can't express yourself at all, and it doesn't mean you don't have anything to express. And for me, I've just found a lot of fun and pleasure in makeup as a disabled person, because yeah, it just gives me some pizzazz. Get that pizzazz. Love a bit of pizzazz. Sometimes I can't be bothered and I just pull my hoodie all the way over my face and hide. But other times I have fun and it's nice. Look at my face, not my wheels. Yeah, that's the main goal. All right, thank you for watching. There are multiple buttons on your screen. Never done this before, but I'm going to. There are multiple buttons. There is a like button. There is a share button. There is a subscribe button. If you want, you can click one of those buttons. If you don't want to click any of those buttons, there's also an exit button, and you can click that too. Either way. But yeah, thanks. I will talk to you next time. Bless.